Have you ever felt like you're in an intractable situation at work or that your voice hasn't been heard and thoughtfully responded to? If so, no, you are not alone. I have recently been reading the book Silenced and Sidelined by Carrie Lynn Arnold. And one of the things that the book really talks about is this epidemic of silencing of women in many work cultures. What's interesting about this book, and she doesn't say this, but most of her research has taken place clearly in Western countries, probably almost all in the United States. So this is definitely a United States focused learning snack. But Carrie, who has done a lot of research into this phenomenon, really looks at how many women feel like their voices don't matter at work, like they literally can't speak up because of fear and self doubt or because of how people have responded to them in the past in work. What I found so powerful about this book was just naming the phenomenon. I feel like in my decade of coaching, I've worked with so many women leaders who have felt silenced by peers, by their bosses, even by direct reports and accusations. Similarly, I myself actually had that experience leading a group of women recently where one of the women was so unfriendly and really felt like she was out for me. And I started to feel bullied in that group. So I know that this phenomena can happen even when you are an accomplished professional, even when you're at the top of your field, even when you do have a lot of expertise and a lot of confidence, you can still feel silenced by the people around you. I want you to take that in because my hunch is right now, if you're not feeling silenced, then there's someone you are working with who is. Can you identify that person? Can you find that person who doesn't speak up in meetings? That person who, when you look at them, you can tell they're thinking something and they have something to say, but they're still not volunteering it. Or maybe they're talking to you about it in side conversations, but then when you get into a bigger meeting, it's not happening at all. I think there's many strategies that we can use to be an ally to people who are silenced. One of them, of course, got a lot of press during the Obama era is amplification. So if someone says something in a meeting, you take it on and refer back to that person. I'm so glad Joe mentioned that. This is really important. I think we should focus on it. That's one area for and way to help people who might feel silenced or like their voice doesn't matter and isn't heard. Another way I think that's really good for someone who doesn't feel like they can speak up in meetings is if you do have side conversations with them, you can bring that into the meeting. Well, I was talking with Joe recently, and Joe actually had a really innovative approach to tackling this problem that we're now facing, something like that. So you can amplify even from side conversations and bring things into the main group. You might want to ask permission beforehand so that someone doesn't feel called out for an idea that maybe they don't feel ready to share. But if you say, hey, this is a great idea, I'd love to share this in the main group. Are you okay if I bring this up? Mentioning that you shared this with me. I think that's always a great way to go. But honestly, another thing might just be to find someone out and tell them that you miss hearing their voice, that you really value what they have to say, and that you want to know, is there any way that you can help them bring their voice more into the workplace? I think sometimes just being an understanding ear, helping them problem solve and helping them think about if they are really being silenced by someone or some structure in the organization, or if it's something more internal on them and more self-doubt, and then how can you support them in either case? So that's your homework for this next week. Think about who might be silenced in your organization and see if you can find a way to be helpful to them. I'm Jo Ilfeld, CEO and founder of Insight to Leadership, and I hope you enjoyed this learning snack. It was one that's really personal to my heart.